obviously Kevin's used to driving right-hand drive now since he already has 2 of them and he's logged some miles. How many miles do you think you logged on between the 2 of them? Come on, Roman.
Probably 2,000.
Okay.
Not a whole lot. I drive them a lot, but usually not long distances.
Right, just around the northern Michigan area.
Yep. Just cruising. Get home from work, take one out for a bit. Do it again the next day. Weather dependent too. You know, I don't take them out much in the rain. This is about the most rain this car's ever seen. And it's just barely sprinkling, so.
Oh, I got full view. There we go.
They ride pretty nicely.
Oh, it rides great. These seats are amazing. These are out of the GTR. Super comfortable. And 2 totally different frames. Kevin's like taller and more skinny frame. I'm like 5'9" and a little overweight, and I'm still comfortable, and I'm sure he's comfortable. So very versatile seat.
Supportive, but doesn't punch your kidneys.
Nah. Nah, you could log miles in this car in these seats, no problem. This come with it?
No, I bought that actually from Australia.
Getting JDM stuff from Australia.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah. Well, I know the car culture for JDM cars in Australia and New Zealand's always been big. I remember back in the day when I was buying content on VHS, a lot of it was, you know, the down under guys and a lot of rotary stuff. And then, of course, obviously the Skylines, you know, the Cosmos, the 20Bs. I remember just, in Datsun 510s, there was a huge Datsun 510 culture down there. So maybe one day I'll go down there. I'm sure the car culture is still just phenomenal in Australia.
For sure, yeah.
It's just very cool to see, like, we're pretty far north in the lower peninsula of Michigan, and to have a presence of some JDM import cars. I'm seeing more JDM import cars now in the area than like USDM cars that were from Japan, modified. It seems like those are all gone. Like nobody has them like from the 90s and stuff. And I'm starting to see like you have a couple Skylines. Tyler has one, and then you said your buddy Gary.
There's a guy named Zach that has one.
And that's just up here.
Yeah, there's a couple over in Gaylord, a couple R33s. And let's see, there's a white one in town that none of us have met. He doesn't seem to be active in any car groups or meets or anything. Yeah, I think there's about 9 of them between like here and Gaylord.
Just crazy. I can't help but wonder if it's easier to maybe buy one of these than it is to find like a clean, like you're not going to pick up an Integra Type R, you're not going to pick up I don't know what else would have been a cool car, even GSRs, you know, I mean you could pick up a 300Z I suppose, or I just don't see them as much. I don't know what the reasoning why we're starting to see. I mean, I guess for our age, you said you're 36, I'm 48. So maybe it's our age and we've done well, you know, made some good financial decisions. So there's an old Prelude, but you have some money, and if you're going to pick up a cool car with JDM pedigree, I mean, why not get a Skyline? Like, because you can afford it, right? Like, how much these are the 2-wheel drives, so they're not the GTRs, but like how much is this car from the JDM importers typically in this condition?
I mean, these would be like low to mid 30s.
Okay, so they're slowly creeping up. I think they're going up approximately 8% a year.
Roughly, yeah.
So there's that actually to take into factor too. So you could, I wouldn't say necessarily invest in cars, but you do have a history that proves that it's fairly safe. I don't know where they're going to top out at.
Well, and a huge part of it too, I think the 32s and the 33s are going to go up in value now that the
it's going to make them seem like a deal, even more so because the 34s are just going to be that much more money.
Right.
Even though you can get it, but it's going to be very expensive. And for a lot of people, you know, it's not obviously a smart idea to finance these, although there are finance companies for these types of vehicles. You know, I think most people that are buying them are probably not financing them. So like, you got to have, it's still a lot of money, you know, 30,000 or whatever. I don't know what the more affordable versions of any cars like this might be. You know, like you can pick up some Toyota MR2s. I don't know what else is out there that JDM imports that would be less expensive.
Well, I mean, even a Skyline, you can get down in the teens if you go. I mean, they have non-turbo ones. The four-doors are cheaper. The automatics are cheaper. So, I mean, it's a big range depending on how the car is spec'd. But, yeah, I think, you know, you get into the VIP cars like Semas and Cedrics, Glorias.
There was a Gloria on that site where you got this.
Yeah.
I thought that's a cool looking car because it has like the quad headlights on it.
I almost bought that car instead of the four-door. Well, like those cars are low to mid-teens.
Yeah, pretty affordable, really.
I mean, and they're super cool. Like that Gloria is a turbo VG30 V6. And so super cool cars. But yeah, I mean, you can get, and then there's like the K cars, or you know, you can get for like 10 grand, depending on what K car.
And all of them have that level of cool factor that if you show up at like, if you care, which, I mean, we're car guys, we care a little bit. If you show up to a car show, there's a new GTR.
50th anniversary GTR.
That's pretty baller. Well, so there's that too, okay? How much are those?
Over 100, 6 figures for sure.
And you're in the same car, different generation. That's 100,000, and these are 30-something thousand.
Yeah, I mean, that car's way faster. It's a track monster. These cars handle really well.
A couple IS 300s.
Amazing cars to drive. I think this car's a better experience, but numbers-wise, that R35 would destroy this car. But, I mean, really, depending on where you live, where you drive, where you're going to use it.
For sure.
Like, these cars are an experience, like you say, get a lot of looks. Either people know what they are and they hang out the windows, make U-turns, or they don't know what they are and they're curious. And then there's a generation that just gets confused because it's the strangest looking mail truck they've ever seen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I look at these cars as it's about the experience. They're just different and a lot of fun.
There's so many different ways to do cool cars, right? You can go crazy with a build. You can buy a factory car that's already insane. You can buy like what I've done, like a Civic Si, where it's essentially a slow car that you drive fast, which is another exhilarating way to do a car. Or you can do something that is just unique and stands out amongst the entire crowd, like some of these JDM unique cars that were never in the States and that are available to us now, that 25 years or older is the rule. And there's many different ways to buy them too. The more research I do, you can import them yourself, but it's a little scary to me logistically versus going to someone that a shop that professionally imports them and they're already ready to go. So when you buy it, it's US registered, so you can drive it off their lot.
Yeah, like you say, you can do it yourself. There's risk involved in it. You know, I think it's really important to have somebody look at the car in Japan. They do a lot of things these days to try to hide rust issues on cars. Parts of Japan get a lot of snow. Parts of Japan just have a lot of humidity from the ocean, and the cars rust. And there are certain spots to look for on each car. So do your research for sure. But yeah, no matter if you do it yourself or go through an importer, it's important to have the cars looked at to identify issues. There's a lot of horror stories of people buying these cars and there were pretty darn good jobs of covering up all of the issues, and people have had to tear the cars down, and just not what they expected.
Yeah. I mean, they're older cars. They're at minimum 25 years old. So
Yep.
something to consider as well. Like they're used cars that are 25, 30, 35 years old. You're even in the best maintained vehicles with reasonable amount of miles on them or kilometers are going to have quirks.
Yeah. They're really cool old cars, but at the end of the day, this is a 26-year-old Nissan. I mean, they have old car problems. It's inevitable.
I will say I don't see a whole lot of 26-year-old Nissans on the road up here that live their whole life up here.
No.
So there's that.
Well, generally, a lot of the cars in Japan are pretty well cared for. It's really expensive to own an older car in Japan. And so a lot of them are either really well taken care of or just kind of abandoned and left to rot, in a sense. But at some point, the cars that are just left outside for years and years, they have to be sold, so people kind of spray over all the problem areas and sell them at auction. And unfortunately, it's big business, and a lot of people get duped that way.
All right, so now we're in the 4-door. This one's a 95, you said?
Yep.
95 with 100,
About 109,000 miles.
yeah, just under 110,000 miles or whatever that is in kilometers. I noticed you don't have the kilometer to mile per hour conversion on this one.
No.
You're probably starting to memorize it anyway, right, by now?
Yeah, I've really only just posted the speed limits, for when I'm not in Mexico.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's, like 55 is 89 kilometers. 45 is 72. I mean, I've got them all memorized.
So same wheelbase is interesting. I didn't think they'd be the same wheelbase, but the sedan and the 2-door, same wheelbase, so they ride essentially the same. You don't have the same suspension on both of them, though, do you?
No, it's
Different.
a similar suspension. The 2-door has Fortunato coilovers. This one has silvers. So very similar design. I have the dampening set a little different between them, don't you?
Yeah, this one feels a little more compliant. For some
It's got a little more rubber under it too.
Oh, okay.
Thicker sidewalls, but yeah, they feel very similar, but they feel different at the same time. I don't really know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But basically the same chassis. Chassis is identical. Body's about 3 inches longer on the 4-doors. But I don't know, they do have a different feel.
Do you think power-wise they're similar too?
Factory, yes, identical. Realistically, between these two, I think the 2-door's got a little more juice.
Okay.
They're both bolt-on cars, but the 2-door has some slightly better components, like better intake on it and stuff like that. But the 2-door pulls harder.
Yeah,
It could be, the lower mileage combined with the different parts, but this one still pulls hard. It's just subtle. It's so quiet.
Yeah, this one's quieter exhaust-wise. That may or may not change. You're going to do another modification to it, remove the resonator.
Yep.
Get a little more audible out of the RB. Both of them have the RB25. Same turbos, probably.
Yep.
That's interesting. It's a little definitely different noises because the different blow-off valve.
Yeah.
But as far as the pull on it, yeah, I think it's a little less than the two-door, but yeah, it's a different vibe. It almost seems like it's a little more civilized or something. I don't know how to explain it.
It definitely feels like it. There's an E30 drift car.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like it hits the senses different with it being so quiet and a little bit smoother ride. I mean, the two-door's a sensory experience for sure. This one's a little more subtle, but still a lot of fun. I love both of them equally, but they're just, I don't know, they feel different, but also the same, which I know is counterintuitive, but they're a different experience for sure.
So, okay, then I can't help but ask this. I mean, there's obvious reasons why you would maybe do it, but some might ask, like, why buy more than one of essentially the same or similar car versus going deeper invested into one of them to make it, more like Godzilla sort of thing?
Okay, well, that's a multi-part question. Number one, the R33 is my favorite car in the world. And so why not have two, right? But also, you go into a big build and reliability goes out the window. I drive these cars every day, so reliability to a degree is important. And both cars are fun and powerful enough for the roads around here. What am I really going to do with 500 wheel horse?
Right.
I'm just a driver. I'm not out racing or tracking these things.
Well, not to mention, earlier you mentioned these are mostly stock-ish, so they're going to be fairly reliable. But for whatever reason, if one is down or getting something done, like on the two-door, you actually are doing a clutch and some other work to it, then you still have this one to drive. So at no point should you ever really be out of being able to have that R33 driving experience.
Right.
Because it's going to be super rare that both of them are going to be down at the same time.
Oh yeah, and neither car is really giving me any trouble. They're older cars, so like the two-door, the clutch is getting weak. It's not shot, but it's starting to fade. It's the stock clutch in that car, 62,000 miles. So I'm putting a new clutch in it, and valve cover gaskets are starting to leak, which is pretty normal. But they've never left me stranded or had major issues. Just normal old car stuff, and a lot of the stuff like valve cover gaskets, for example, super cheap, and you can get them easily. So a lot of the maintenance stuff is not super expensive, so long as you can find the parts. Some parts for these cars are hard to find, but as far as building a big power car, really I don't need it. I don't build them for bragging rights or clout. I just build them for me to be able to drive them, and they're plenty of fun. Everybody loves the big power cars, including myself, but
You start to lose the drivability of it too, I imagine.
you do, yeah.
Well, so you know somebody that has one that's a higher power level, and maybe we'll be able to show that at some point on video. We need to reach out to him and see if he's willing to share his build experience, which you probably will be. But I think, would you say he's at like 450 horse?
453 to the wheels. It's a R32 GTR, so it's an all-wheel drive car. But the streetability is not near as good as like these cars.
And then you start to get addicted to it because you said that he wants more even at that level.
He wants more, yeah, for sure. And you get into that power level, and there's always weak points, and so something is breaking frequently on his car. And like Nissan doesn't make front diffs for GTRs anymore.
So you have to find a used one or have it rebuilt or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, fortunately, it was able to get it rebuilt, but it's not to say it won't happen again. So yeah, I mean, there's that factor in it too.
I love that shift knob.
Yeah.
You gonna keep the stock airbag steering wheel?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm a sucker for stock steering wheels.
So you just basically like the OEM plus
Yeah.
type of builds.
For sure.
All right, it's getting warm, so we're gonna roll the windows down.
AC does work, but
But it's super nice out, so
yeah.
we can roll with the windows down for a little while. We gotta sit through a light though.